anytime, Samantha. Please don't, because we are on a roll.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding you.
Yeah. Hey, we're back. What's going on? We're radio boys. It's Mike Monty.
Yeah, I got you. All right. Hey, we're rolling back. This is Paisley Nights, and we are chronicling the days of Wild. I am Mark Bondi here with my co-host,
DJ Dudley D.
and we're talking about Paisley Park and the stories that came out of there. And we're not talking about stories from like the uber famous folks. We're talking about stories from just regular people who got invited to participate in a crazy scene. Folks were in there for decades. Prince was throwing parties, doing performances. He was doing his thing. So we're interviewing people, getting it the story told, right, Dustin?
That's what we do.
So it's been fun, and we got a lot more ahead of us. Tonight we are going to be interviewing Samantha McCarroll-Hyne.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And we are jazzed about it. Samantha it has been in the scene. She's going to tell you that whole story, but she's actually now managing the People of Paisley Park page, right, Samantha?
I am.
Which is fantastic. And our podcast is on that page.
PeopleofPaisleyPark.com.
Yes.
Maybe that's why you're here.
Maybe that's why
Hopefully that's why you're here.
So we got Sam here. You know, we're going to talk more about the People of Paisley Park.
Wait, is Sam okay? Can we call you Sam?
Sam is fine.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
My parents call me Sammy, so that's awkward. Don't call me Samurai, because that's a big no.
Okay. I would have never gone.
It's so tempting though. Now that you've put it out there, so I think we're gonna back into the People of Paisley Park stuff. We're gonna come back around on that as this interview goes on. But before we dive into that, just like tell us about yourself. Who are you? What are you doing? What's your story today?
Today I am alive and I'm here being interviewed, which I showed up not knowing that I was going to be interviewed, so this is a little awkward.
Surprise podcast.
Here you go. But I mean, this is not something that people need to prep for. The stories are already there.
Right.
So now you just gotta let them go. So who are you? What I mean, you working? Where do you live? What's your? I mean, not your address, but general vicinity.
I live in Hopkins, so it's pretty much between Minneapolis and Chanhassen.
I love
for the
Hopkins. I live there.
out-of-towners.
Hoagie's is my spot.
Hoagie's is so
Yes.
good. Yeah, super cheap breakfast at Hoagie's. If you're in town for the celebration, go there. Yeah. What else?
Where are you from?
I'm from Hopkins.
You grew up in Hopkins?
I grew up in Hopkins.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very boring.
That is not true at all.
We're going to prove that statement wrong.
Yeah, that is anything but true. So you're from the Minneapolis area.
Yes.
Graduated
I moved
from
around a lot.
Okay.
I actually did live in Chanhassen in like 2005, 2006. I kind of had a meltdown when Prince was getting divorced around that time. I was in elementary school, and I drove past on my way to school, and I saw a wrecking ball by his house, and I was like, no, and I cried for a week, and my friends were like, what's happening? I'm like, Prince moved.
So Prince moved, and you had a breakdown.
I had a total breakdown.
So how old were you at this point in your life?
I was in 6th grade, so I was like 12, and my friends
So
were
you're
like
12 years old having a breakdown because there's a wrecking ball at Prince's house.
yeah, and one of my friends was like, I heard Prince release a new song, Black Sweat, it's pretty good, and I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to any new Prince music
Because of this wrecking ball. So can you describe the wrecking ball? Like, is this like an orange deal, a yellow deal? Can like you see it in your mind?
In my mind, I think it was black. Like a big, like Miley Cyrus sitting on it, kind of black wrecking ball.
And the whole truck was there. And was the wrecking ball swinging at this point? Were you watching
when
it
I drove
actually?
past, it wasn't.
Okay.
was just sitting there,
I
but-
probably would have had like a nervous breakdown.
But you knew what the wrecking ball was for.
Oh yeah.
The house wasn't down though. So the house was there and the wrecking ball was there, or the house was gone and the wrecking ball was there?
Mark, I was 12.
Yeah, I'm just curious. But you knew what was going on.
I knew what was going
regardless.
on. And then
Okay.
I read the news that he had moved, and then that's when my week-long meltdown started.
So you're 12. When did you get into Prince? So you're freaking out at 12. So when was your first time kind of knowing that Prince was Prince?
So I say I'd probably started listening to him because my mom listened to Prince as well when I was a kid, probably like Mateo's age. I was
old
one
would
of
that
those
be?
kids, like 3. Is he 3? 4? I was a little younger than Mateo. And then when I was 5, I bought my first Prince album, and I didn't really know who he was at that time. I was impressed with the look. It was the Rave into the Joy Fantastic album, so that kind of weirdness attracted me to him. And then the music made it stick.
You liked the little baby dreads or whatever you had going on.
And then I think by the time I was 7, I had like the 1999 New Master, Come to My House, Emancipation, New Power Soul. Those were my jams.
You had this going. So at 7 years old, your musical taste had moved from Raven to the Joy Fantastic to the 99 remaster.
Yeah, which a lot of people don't like, but you need to listen to that again because it's so good.
What do you like about it?
I liked the jazz and the house music, and like it was good, like all into one. So what was attractive about Prince to me was that he covered every single genre, and that was amazing to me as a kid. So
were you aware of this at 5?
Yeah, that's the reason I kept listening.
Because there was always something new.
What else were you into?
So my dad has a really eclectic music taste, so I was listening to like Yellow Man, MC Solar, Atmosphere, that kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're 5. You're consuming this music. You're like, I love this. I love the variety. Like the most sophisticated 5-year-old that's out there. Did you know that Prince was from your city?
Absolutely. Yeah. So my mom went to a lot of parties out at Paisley Park, and I would beg her to take me. I'm like, take me to the park. And she thought that I thought that it was like a playground because I called it the park. I didn't call it Paisley.
But did you know what it was?
I exactly knew what it was. I was like, I want to go out there. I don't care how young I am. I want to get into a party there.
Right. So how often was your mom going?
Probably more than she told me because I was very jealous, but I have no idea.
That's so interesting. I mean, I've met your mom, right?
Yes.
I just wonder if, obviously we were at the same parties.
Probably.
That's what I was thinking.
So, I mean, that would be an interesting interview. Would your mom want to come on?
Maybe.
That would be fantastic. I mean,
we'll have you both back.
We'll have you both back. Because I think, it's a really interesting storyline that you're getting introduced at, an extremely young age to Prince. And, it's not just a phase. Has it ever left this, Prince deal?
No, and it was interesting because I was talking to a friend in Atlanta a few weeks back, and she was talking about how people go through phases, how they're way into Prince for 3 years and then kind of lose touch a little bit and then find their way back in. And I've never had that. It's always been a constant in my life.
So never a time when it's not
it's embedded in your DNA.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it. So it's just fascinating.
That's why it's difficult when you ask me who I am. This is who I am.
This is why we're trying to get to it. How do you peel back the layers of the onion? So you knew at 5 that Prince is living in your city. You got Rave. You're like, this is awesome. You're going deeper into the catalog, and your mom's participating in the park. So there's this Paisley Park scene.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's fascinating to me on so many levels. So when is the first time you actually see Prince, whether it's Paisley Park or in concert or rolling through Chanhassen on 5?
I met him, the first time I saw him in person was at a gas station in the back seat of an SUV.
Which gas station? Do you remember the gas station? Was it Chanhassen's?
It was in St. Louis Park on the corner of Cedar Lake Road in Louisiana. There's a pizza place there now.
I know where you're at. Yep.
It used to be a gas station. I met him there in the way back seat of Larry Graham's SUV with his 2 grandkids at the time.
Larry Graham's 2 grandkids.
Yeah.
Nice. So
why are you in the back seat of? What's going on?
Why is Prince in the back seat?
No, why?
I wasn't.
He wasn't. Prince was in the back seat.
Oh, Prince was in the back seat.
Yeah.
I thought you said you were in the back seat with Larry Graham's 2 grandchildren.
I was not. I was standing next to the car, wondering why my mom brought me up to an SUV with tinted windows in a gas station parking lot.
So your mom's like, there's Larry Graham.
Yeah. So you're
so my mom knew Larry and Tina because she was working as a natural health consultant at Lake Winds out in Chanhassen.
Really?
And they would come in to buy natural beauty products, and they had talked to her before then. And she ran out to the car. I was blasting Love from 3121 and happy that he was back in the city.
Yep.
And she was like, Sam, come here, come on. And I was like, what? Why are we going up to this crazy truck in the middle of a gas station?
And Larry Graham's in the front seat?
No, he was in the gas station.
Okay,
with Tina,
so Larry Graham is not in the car at all.
No, he's not in the car at all.
But it is Larry Graham's car. So you're going up to the car with tinted windows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when do you realize it's Prince and Larry Graham's grandkids in the back seat?
Well, so I saw the grandkids first, and I'm like, who is this random ass man introducing me to his grandkids in a gas station parking lot? And then I saw Prince, and I was like, holy shit. Like,
It's just wild.
yeah.
That's crazy.
I called my dad after because I was so excited. I'm like, guess who I just met? He's like, Prince. I'm like, how did you guess? Like, because I was so excited.
Yeah.
He's like, there's only one person that would make her that excited.
Like, that's it. It wasn't like Joe Mauer or something.
Right. I don't care about Joe Mauer.
Shout out to Joe Mauer, though, if you're listening.
Yeah, I apologize.
Okay, so what's this interaction like? Was this like a shake of the hand? Was this like a wave? Was this
Yeah,
like a
it was.
Sam?
He leaned
Because
forward.
did your mom know?
Oh, not personally
Okay.
at the time. I mean,
Okay.
there were a couple interactions. I know there was a time she was at Paisley with this guy Matt who went to school with Prince, and Prince had set out like a bowl of stale popcorn and some flat soda, and they were sitting there munching on it like, what is this snack? And
Where's
he
the
ran
pancakes?
up.
Was he messing with them?
He was totally messing with them.
So-
He ran up to him and was like, how's the snacks?
See, this is the beauty of this podcast, right? Is we get to find Prince the prankster at a
Yeah.
party at Paisley,
Oh, yeah.
putting out stale popcorn and
Flat soda, like Sprite, flat
it's
Sprite.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And then watching people, that is just fantastic. That's a great
I mean, it was
story.
a smaller party. They were invited, so it wasn't like a ton of people sitting around eating popcorn.
But it's still him just messing with folks.
Yeah.
Because he had intent, because that's the way that dude rolled.
right.
He's probably like, Takumi, don't throw that away. Like, let that sit there for a few days. Takumi's like,
I'll
what?
invite some people. We'll take care of
This will
it.
be fantastic. So did they eat it, or did they?
I mean,
Because you're at Paisley, right? Like, what do you... Oh,
and
man,
he's
this is- I don't
standing
know.
there like, you're not going to spit it out. Like, yep, they're delicious. Thanks. I have no idea if they kept eating it.
So your mom kind of knew him. So how did the introduction go? How did it go down? Sam, this is Prince. Who says that?
Tina said that.
Okay.
And she introduced him as Brother Nelson. She didn't say Prince.
Okay,
Ah.
cool.
Because they had just gotten done with church. It was a Sunday afternoon.
Right?
Yeah, so I met him as Brother Nelson.
Awesome.
Shake his hand?
Yeah, shook his hand. I was wearing a really awful Life is Good t-shirt with some cut-off jeans.
Yeah.
It was really awkward.
You don't remember what you're wearing.
Why did
don't
I put
think-
this on today?
Was there any
Right.
other conversation or?
They invited us to church with them. So there was conversation after that when we eventually went to church. But
Oh,
as
yeah,
far
he
as
did
that
a lot.
interaction.
I got invited
yeah.
many times to
Yeah.
church. Come
Did you ever
hang out.
go?
I didn't. Come hang out.
You should have. It
I
was
know.
interesting. What I found most interesting is that Prince didn't sing at church. I would look over. Tina was a great singer. All of the gospel music that they sing.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Prince did not sing.
He's like, you got to pay me for that.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder what he was thinking. Why didn't? Any thoughts on why he didn't sing?
I have no idea, and I didn't ask. Maybe he did sometimes.
Maybe
But-
he didn't know the lyrics.
He
That's
had a
probably-
book. Maybe he can't read. Well, he couldn't read sheet music,
Yeah.
so maybe that was an issue.
So you're seeing Prince at the gas station first. And
Yes.
any other, like, was it just hello, hello? Was that kind of the?
Yeah, it was really quick, like
Okay.
2 minutes. My mom was 8 months pregnant, and we were
Okay.
standing out in the middle of a gas station parking lot.
Yeah, so it's just like we're rolling, and you're pumped up, and that's great. So then the next time you see him is at the hall, or
Actually, a month. Well,
doesn't you don't have to be?
I'm trying to remember the timeline, but I think it was the next summer. Wait, you're gonna have to edit this because I'm like my brain.
Doesn't matter. Where was it? Doesn't matter the timeline.
The next time I saw him was at the 777 show at the Target
Okay,
Center.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my first concert as well.
So did you hit all 3 shows?
No, I only went to the
'Cause
Target Center.
You only so you missed Macy's. Why'd you miss Macy's?
Yes.
You could have gone to Macy's.
So they had announced it in like May, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to save up money, but I have no income at 13 years old. So it was really hard to save money. That morning, I didn't think I was going to be able to go. And my grandma actually showed up that morning with tickets for the 3 of us to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
The 3 of us being you, your mom, and
And my grandma.
And your
Yeah.
grandma?
I guess 3.5 because my mom was pregnant.
Yeah.
all the generations.
Making it happen. So but Macy's was no. Why no Macy's?
We just didn't have tickets.
Just didn't have tickets
Yeah.
because you missed the tickets, but you got the tickets to the Target Center.
Yep. And
So
I
what'd
got
you
to
think of
stand
the-
in line for 2 hours outside
Nice.
of the Target
Yeah,
Center.
because what happened that night? That was a crazy night, wasn't it? Yeah, the whole show started like 2 hours late.
I remember it was really hot, and I was wearing this terrible dress that I made myself. It was awful. It was like a bunch of random neon colors, and it like wasn't a fabric that you wear.
But you did.
I'm so glad there's no pictures from that night because it would be very embarrassing.
Where were your seats?
We were in like the second bleacher row, like right off the floor.
Okay. And our seats were real close to there.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the show? Your first Prince show. I mean, what were your impressions?
I remember it was awesome, and there were like some middle-aged women sitting next to us that were like, "Oh, you're so cute! Like coming to a Prince show. I think you'll really enjoy it." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then I knew all the lyrics to songs they had never heard before, and they're like, "What is happening here?"
Yeah. So she is deep. Do you remember anything specific from that set that you're like, this was like super memorable?
Do you remember what he opened with?
He opened with Purple Rain, and my mom was in the bathroom because she was on bed rest and was having issues. And so that was awkward. I'm like, "You're missing Purple Rain." And then I do remember when he played Sometimes It Snows in April, and I tried to record it on my phone, sneaky like, and my grandma was like, "They're going to kick us out." And I'm like, "Okay, shut up. Like, they won't kick us out if they don't know that I have a phone out."
You still got that or no?
No.
Yeah.
And it was such terrible recording. I had like a Razor flip phone, but it was like off-brand, like the Katana one through Quest. It was awful.
So it did not really work.
It didn't.
So that's your first show, and you leave more pumped up than ever, and you're like, I am on this train for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. Yep.
So you had not been out to Paisley Park yet?
No. So my mom said that when I turned 10, I could go out there.
Ooh.
And then
The double digit.
yeah.
But then it went quiet, right?
And it went quiet. Yeah, we used to drive out there, and we ended up having a lot of late night picnics at Lake Ann. And I do remember one weekend.
Who's we?
My mother and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like hoping maybe to see that something's going on.
Yeah, so
You're
we'd
like,
drive by like Saturday nights to see if anything was going on. I'm not sure if she was in like your little phone call circle.
Yeah.
She ended
Well,
up
that
at
had
things
kind of
anyway, but
dissipated by then, but yeah.
Huh.
but I remember one weekend I went home and she had a musicology water bottle on the dresser, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I know you were out there and you didn't tell me."
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
was pissed.
Yeah, which makes sense because you were 10 and you were supposed to be able to go.
Yeah.
But so between then and then, it wasn't very active though. I mean, that was
no, it
pretty
wasn't.
quiet time out of Paisley. So 2007, you go to the show, and then
Yeah.
when's your first time in Paisley Park?
So actually, when he released the Lotus Flower website, I got my first job so that I could pay for that membership. Never got my T-shirt. Also missed the Paisley Park concert announcement by a day.
Oh, so did you miss that show?
I missed that
That
show.
was a good
yeah.
show.
So I'm told.
But I mean, he charged me twice, just so we're clear.
I was just
just so we're clear.
just gonna
just
say,
so
what-
we are clear. That whole Lotus Flower thing.
Mark still holds a grudge.
No, I do, because Prince owed me $77.
And a T-shirt.
No, I got the T-shirt, but just one. So
Oh, yeah.
I had signed up, and they charged me twice for the deal. So the running joke when Dustin would see Prince around town, "Hey, Prince is coming down to so and so tonight," I'd be like, "Yo, talk to that dude about my $77."
If he shows up, we ask him for my $77. I'm like, let me get right on that. That's the first thing he wants me to talk to him about.
Dude, how long did I text you that for though? Like, it was seriously
Forever.
like years. I asked for that $77.
Oh my god.
Every time Dustin was hanging out with Prince, I'd be like, "Hey, give me that $77, yo."
Yeah.
Every
Time someone brings up the Lotus Flower website, I'm like, "Where's my T-shirt?"
So you never got your T-shirt?
Nope.
What was the website like? I was never a member of that.
There were like little games, like it was weird, like different puzzles that you had to complete to get like access to
Right.
be able to go on, and then it was basically all the YouTube videos.
Gotcha.
Like I could have gotten it all for free.
Yeah, what was the cost again? It was like $77.
Yeah.
And
I didn't pay anything more than that.
He owed me
Yeah, it was
$77. No, I forgot, because it was like a year membership, but they
Right.
never came back with like the second year, right? So you got the access to the website, and then he gave out the code for the Paisley show. You got a T-shirt, but the website
Maybe.
did not have
It was just
anything
videos.
spectacular.
And there
was
was
it that globe?
Yeah.
There was
And
like a
then
globe, and like the globe would spin,
Yeah,
and they would have videos on it. So you'd flip the
They
globe
had like the
one
Coachella
ways.
video and stuff, which you can all
Oh,
find
yeah.
online
Right.
now. And then they had the Morning After single instead
Yeah.
of Crimson and Clover. on the online version of the album.
But that was also like he always did those like back like the MPG Music Club stuff, and like a lot of times that's when you're getting into the rehearsals. Yeah. Like when I was doing the tour, the One Night Alone tour, it was like, every spot we went to, it was like at least 200, 250 people that were showing up early that were part of the MPG Music Club, and they're coming in and they're
This was essentially like round 2 of the NPG Music
Right.
Club. Like that had been down. Lotus
And I
Flower was the
joined-
new deal. Because did he on Lotus Flower? Is that where he released Colonized Mind first? Because he had like a loop
Maybe.
of Colonized Mind on a website, and that
Yeah.
was like the only thing that was on there, and it was like coming soon. But then you got the whole.
I don't think I was
Colonized
on
Mind.
it at that point because I was trying to find a job to get money.
I wore that thing out. I would click back to that website all the time, and I didn't know I wasn't fancy enough to like not need the website to listen to it. I would literally, dude.
It was the song, or it was
Colonized Mind, because that
Nice.
thing was smoking.
Yeah, and I joined the
Still
NPG
is.
Music Club like the last month that it was up, which was awful timing on my part.
Oh yeah,
But I got to see like the virtual tour thing that he had and like the chat rooms and like the I remember they had like the musicology with the soundboard
yeah.
type thing in the store.
So you started to buy some Prince stuff and get out to some things.
Yeah. Well, actually, my first time out at Paisley Park was 4 years later. I was 19. And he was doing the rehearsals for the Montreux 2013 Jazz Festival.
So what are the dates of this?
So I believe he had a rehearsal July 5th of 2013. I did not make it to that one. They had announced it in the Third Eye like TV chat.
Yeah.
And they were like, 40 minutes will open the doors to people. And I had just gotten home from work. Were you DJing
we were there.
that night?
Dustin DJ'd that because we saw
Did I?
him. Yeah, we saw him in Chicago a couple of days before at the City Winery.
Oh yeah.
So that was that whole like it was like we were in Chicago, visiting the in-laws and like total Prince style, right? You're just like hanging out, and then it's like, hey,
Yeah, I remember that. You were
Prince
like,
is gonna have a show tonight in Chicago, and we're just happy to be down there.
I need some clothes.
Yeah, we headed to the store. We got all geared up, like, because we just went down there. We were going down there for the day, drop our daughter off, and then we're coming back up. So we were literally gonna spend that night, but we weren't ready to like. It's like jeans and t-shirt weather, right? Shorts, t-shirt. So we got new clothes, got tickets, went down there, and the show just banged. It was like Prince, the consummate like entertainer with the horns and the whole scene, and it was just like small stage, and just like the dude just went up there and worked it. And I hadn't seen him in a while, right?
Well, and it's also kind of like that small, intimate Paisley Park vibe, but in a different city with a bunch of
Different
people that
right?
are just jacked up because they have. When's the last time they saw Prince?
Yeah, and
ever.
And it just happened today. Like you had no build, just like Samantha on this interview, zero
Right.
build, right? See,
I
this
am not prepared at all.
Yeah, we're just employing Prince techniques here. See, he's masterful and he's taught us his ways. So we
Yes.
just work him into the scene where all of a sudden it's just got to pop, and then like the energy flows on its own. So that show all happens, fantastic, beautiful, jacked up, right? And it's just like, man, I just saw Prince. It's been so long. And then like we got back into town, and it was like July 5th. Tonight's the night. There's something happening. And then essentially Paisley Park was like lights back on.
Yep.
Right? Because it had been since 2009. That Lotus Flower show was the last time he'd played there. So there's this hiatus for 4 years when nothing is happening.
Right.
And then July 5th hits, and it's like Third Eye Girl season, and
Yep. And I ended up going to the July 6th rehearsal.
was Third Eye Girl there at that point? Or did
They were.
come? Because they
So-
opened in January, right? At the
Yep,
Dakota.
at the Dakota,
Yep.
and I could not afford tickets to that show, which was very disappointing. But I ended up going out to Paisley on July 6th. I worked 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then went home, showered, and got my ass out there.
That's hardcore.
Yeah.
So your first experience walking through the doors, like, what's it like? Like you're driving there. What's it like?
I was really anxious, I think, because it had been 9 years since I thought I could go out there to when I actually did. And then when I got out there,
Was it just you? Who were you with? Just you?
it was just me. Yeah.
So you're rolling solo to Paisley Park,
Yeah.
and you know something's happening,
Yeah.
Anxious? That's the
Very
word?
anxious. And then
Did you make any noises in your car like, I'm going to be...
We were just like, I just
no,
like to
I
use...
cannot say that I did
Yeah.
that. At least publicly, I
Yeah.
will not.
But
I
you're
will not
ready.
confirm those
You're ready.
noises.
You're rolling down the street and you are...
Yeah, amped.
Yeah.
And then I ended up parking on the side street because they hadn't opened the parking lot yet. And that really calmed me down, being around other people like me, just hanging out on the street.
So what it is about those other people? You say other people like you. What does that mean?
I think there's just an energy that goes along with understanding Prince and what he's about at his core.
What would you call that energy? Like what
Prince energy.
Prince energy? Like, I mean, that's actually that's fair, right? Like it's like
hard to explain.
It's hard to
but
explain. It's a
got its-
different energy. It's got its own vibe.
So many multiple things. You know, you can't just put one word
I've
to
actually
it.
I've been thinking about it a lot lately because I'm an empath, so I'm very in tune with everyone's energy, and it's really overwhelming for me to be in crowds. But I never felt that at Paisley Park because I feel like everyone was on the same energy level. So it wasn't like all these different feelings coming at you from different angles. It was like one cohesive energy.
And obviously positive, right?
Everyone
Yes.
was jacked.
Positive.
Everyone's amped.
It's
Even
amped,
on the side street.
It's amped. It's positive, but it's like it's anticipatory,
Yeah.
right? So there's an element of like I am so jazzed to be here, you know.
And
And there's a communal factor because these people all share a similar interest.
Yeah.
And then there's this anticipatory layer of.
Are we going to get in?
And
You're still outside.
Are we
Right.
going to get in? And when we get in,
What's going to happen?
what's going to happen, right? What are we going to see? What's going to be in there? Because you're really flying blind at that point while you're waiting outside, right? Like, I remember walking into like new setups, right?
Right.
Oh man, I can't believe he set the stage up here. I
Yeah.
can't believe the stage looks like this.
And
I can't believe we're in this room or in that room, or I
what-
can't believe
what
they're giving
guitars
tours
are on stage.
Yeah.
What instruments are on stage. Oh, there's a piano this week. You know, you never know what's going to happen.
So you're feeling that in the parking lot, and then all of a sudden they open the gates, and you drive in, you park inside. What
I
happens?
was very impressed with, like, all the people I met out on the street had been going there for decades, and they were very welcoming, even though it was my first time there. So by the time I actually got in, it already felt like I was part of a community.
Did you know those people previously?
No, absolutely not.
Do you remember those people today? Like, do you remember who some of them are?
Yeah,
like,
I have a picture with them. I've met Vanessa Drews.
Yep.
I met Heidi Vader out there.
Nice.
I have a picture with some of those people from that night.
Really, it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'll have
so
to
like,
send it to you.
No, that's fantastic. We could put it up with the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, those are the types of relationships we're talking about, right? Because I mean, as part of this podcast, we want to get the Prince stories and the fact that this dude is serving some stale popcorns and flat soda, like that is pretty much the most fantastic thing ever. The thing that he didn't sing at church when he was, worshiping with the Jehovah's Witnesses, like those are interesting stories,
Right.
and we want to get those out because they're just fantastic, and the Prince anecdotes are just pretty much never ending, right? Very interesting. But I think the other layer of this thing is like what the community that was Paisley Park, the building, the music scene for that period of time, what that was. Like that community is something different and special, and I think there's lessons to be learned in it.
And I remember growing up, I had a pretty large collection of Prince shirts while I was in high school that I would wear all the time because I was trying to find my people.
Yeah.
And I felt hopeless.
Yeah. So like, what's it like liking Prince in high school?
In Hopkins High School.
Yeah. It's I connected more with the music instructors than the other kids.
There you go.
Really? So
Yeah.
like, was it hard to like? Was going to school difficult then, or did you find other ways to connect with people?
I found other ways to connect, but I found that when I had presentations in classes where we had to like show a video, I was always trying to find a Prince performance so that I could be like, this is what you're missing out on. This is what we could bond over, but no one ever caught on.
Nobody ever caught it. Like, were they just? I mean, was it just above them, or was it just like they're so acculturated to something else, or what do you feel like the inability to connect on that level was? Why were you into it and they weren't? Any thoughts on that?
I think at that age, you hold on to what you've known your whole life because, going through puberty is really stressful. Yeah. And so you try to hang on to what you already know instead of adding more stress to it.
You want to feel like you're part of the thing, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, I can't because like I'm so
Yeah.
this is so me.
Like I can't unknow Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like you can't because I feel that sometimes too, right? Like as I'm looking through my Facebook feed or talking to people or going to another Prince party one more time and again, it's like what we do, another interview. We're just talking about Prince but still, right?
I feel like
and
life,
sometimes you're just like, am I still talking about Prince? Like I've been doing this for a long time.
Right. I feel like life would be a lot easier if I didn't like Prince so much.
Really? Why do you think that?
Just because there was a lot of ridicule that went along with it. I'm sure for your generation as well. Like, I know one of my friends said you listen to MJ on the speakers and Prince on the headphones because it was like taboo almost.
I got inverse though.
Yeah, but I think that I was ridiculed a lot for it, and sometimes, like now that he's passed too, it's really hard for me to get excited about things still.
Yeah.
And so
life ain't got that pop.
Right. So sometimes I wish that I wasn't into Prince, but it's so difficult when it's part of who you are to let that go.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, I'm sure like in high school and whatnot, you're like trying to explain to people this Prince thing, and
Right.
they're like, they don't like, they're just going, they're listening to whatever's hot on the radio, and like you're like,
Yeah,
no, you
Soulja
don't get
Boy.
it. You don't. Yeah, exactly. You're like, what? And they're like, they just don't. Sometimes you just don't get it. Sometimes some people just don't grasp it.
Yeah.
And it often takes, getting into the catalog or
Finding somebody.
seeing but that experience of seeing him live.
Oh yeah, that'll turn you into a different
change you.
Yeah.
And I was really into, in high school, I played saxophone, so I was really into like all the jazz stuff like Herbie Hancock
Nice.
and Duke Ellington, Johnny Hodges. And hearing Prince play those songs, I was so jazzed. Like there was one night where they were doing the NPGQ or MP Jazz, whatever you want to call it. And Prince got on his guitar and started playing Chameleon by Herbie Hancock, and I'm like, I love this song.
Yes.
and it just shows you like his musical understanding, right?
Yeah.
Like that dude just did all kinds of stuff. Like I've never heard that story before.
Yeah.
When was this?
That would have been 2015.
All right, so you go out there in 2013, and now
It was
doesn't-
2014.
we're close enough.
Okay.
So you turn on the heat in 2013. Tell us about the journey between 2013 and
Are you going out there
Yeah.
like every party
Yeah.
that you can find out about?
Every
You're-
single one that
How
I
are you
heard
learning about 'em?
I didn't have a car for the first 3 years that I went out there. So it was a lot of like borrowing people's cars, asking for rides. Like if he posted on Twitter or whatever, I was out there.
You're gonna make a
found
way,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Found a way.
These are my people. This
Yeah.
is my guy. We're doing this, and while you're going, I mean, are you interacting with Prince at all? Does he begin to know you as you kind of?
I mean, we had some conversations when I went to church with him. So
Okay, did he remember you from those conversations?
I'm not sure. I've always wondered if he connected, like that I was that 12-year-old girl that he talked to because I looked different.
Yeah, but you didn't necessarily talk to him about knowing him at 12.
I didn't ask.
Okay.
No.
Did you talk to him when you're not 12?
So later on, our interactions were more like him joking around, like going past, and then I got a cease and desist letter once for posting bootlegs, and then he asked me to don't ask me about. I see you guys wanting to ask me about that. But then he had his assistant reach out about distributing Hit and Run Phase 2, so it was like
Okay.
kind of distant interactions, but more.
Yeah. Like he knew who you were as
yeah.
part of this kind of new Paisley Park crew,
Yes.
right? Because there's kind of, I would say that there's new players getting introduced to the scene from like Dustin and I's time
Absolutely.
at
Yeah.
2013. And I always kind of see you as part of that like clique.
I'm
is
assuming
that
he
true?
saw me as part of that clique too,
Yeah.
even though I had known him for 10 years.
Yep.
Right. But now you're out there.
And you got a crew.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
are you hanging out with these people beyond Paisley Park?
Yes.
Okay. So like your crew, you meet people there, and now you are.
Like
Like
we had
chilling on the
potlucks and
weekends.
stuff. I've slept on those people's floors. Yeah.
Nice.
All that stuff. It was really nice finally having a family like that.
Yeah, so was this like an immediate connection then from the first time out there? Did you get people's contacts? How did you like engage? Was it just like an organic, like we
Yeah,
start seeing
so-
you and hey, we should hang out sometime. You're into Prince, I'm into Prince.
There
like
were
let's do
people
something.
that like My friend Danny, I met her in her kitchen because she was able to give me a ride one night out to Paisley Park. So I ended up in her kitchen. I'm like, hey, I know I'm in your house, but it's nice to meet you. And then I ended up sleeping on her futon that night too.
Sweet.
Until I could get home. But a lot of really immediate connections like that just because we're all on the same boat trying to go out to the same shows.
Do the same thing.
Yeah.
So as you're seeing these shows, I mean, one getting better than the next. Are there any more memorable shows than not? Tell us like one of your most memorable Paisley Park shows.
So I'd say my most memorable one was when he did the after party for Madonna.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Madonna's in town playing Minneapolis, right?
Right.
St.
She was
Paul.
at Excel.
Yep.
Yeah. We got a call from Donna's husband Trevor saying come out at like midnight.
Who's he calling?
He called Jesse.
Okay.
So Jesse was doing like the tours at the time.
Yep.
And he would call him if they had like a music video shoot they were doing too. He would call and be like, "Can you get this number of people together for like a crowd scene, that type of thing?" But he called and was like, "Really small list of people tonight. Like, make sure it's people you can trust. Don't tell people that'll tell other people." Like that kind of vibe.
Did you have any like thought like if Madonna's going out there at all? I mean, you knew she was in town, right?
Yeah, I was at work actually, and I had like a fake meltdown so that my boss would let me leave, and I like ran to the train and went home to grab some clothes, and then had someone else pick me up. But I remember telling one of my coworkers, "Well, Madonna's playing XL, so maybe he'll do a show with her." I have no
we
idea.
talked about that before, like how when we were going out there religiously, like if someone is like Lenny Kravitz is playing or so and so is playing in town, we'd be like, there could be something at Paisley later.
This is
So
there was
Tuesday night.
always a connection there.
I remember I went to a couple of shows like Leanne LaHavis played at the Varsity Theater, and I love her, so I was like excited to go anyway. But I'm like, Prince will probably show up to that, and he did. He was up in the balcony with his third eye shades on,
doing his thing.
really awkward. But yeah, the Madonna night. So we got out there about midnight. We went in, and then her tour bus rolled up. It was her and like her band and 20 backup dancers and like the Paisley Park group. Yeah, just 20. Which it was really fun to watch them. They had like a dance circle going on in the one other room.
And just next level, right?
Yeah, next level. And the DJ that was out there, it was like I think DJ Kiss from LA. And she played Vogue, and they like broke out into choreography. I'm like, I'm just gonna sit down now.
I'll just watch this.
But the staff that night was really minimal too. I remember at one point he was like, turn off the house lights or turn up the house lights, and nothing happened. And he said it again and nothing happened because he didn't have a lighting guy there.
Yeah.
And so he got off the stage and went back to the back of the room and was flipping light switches, and he turned off the bathroom lights, and nobody turned them on the rest of the night. And people were like going to the bathroom in the dark, and they're like, I don't want to mess with this because Prince turned them off.
That's
weird.
a good story. So Madonna and her crew roll in, and you're like, what's Madonna wearing?
I don't remember what she was wearing. She had a grill in and like a side braid, and she looked very tired.
I'm sure.
And
Really?
they had a little
Like, 'cause
roped off area
just,
for her
she
too.
just performed for a couple hours, and
yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that performance.
but she was.
Because I was sitting in my car on the side street waiting for Prince.
Yeah, but she looked tired, and they got a little roped off area, and she's just...
Yeah, so it was really awkward because they had a couch roped off for her, and she sat there for like probably 20 minutes by herself, and it's like, all your dancers are dancing with us. Like, it's cool. You know? But then she eventually made it into the crowd, and then it was really cute once Prince started playing. I remember some of Madonna's dancers were standing at the back of the crowd, and there were maybe 30 or 40 people there. And we were like, you guys can go up to the front. Like, we do this every week. It's fine. You can go up. And they were so excited to be there. Yeah.
That's funny.
So all the dancers, front row. And who's Prince playing with at the time? Who's the band?
Prince was playing with... Kirk was on drums, Mono Neon was on bass, Donna was on guitar, And then I believe Xavier was on keys and Adrian was on electric sax most of the night.
Do you remember any of the set, or do you just remember Madonna was there?
They played like all of Hit and Run Phase 1. It was so good.
Yeah, why was it good? Why did you like it?
Like that's the only time I've heard him play most of those songs, and it was really cool to hear like a live interpretation. Like I know X's Face when they played it. Donna was playing that on her guitar, and it was like so sick.
Nice.
And you just like, I just want a little bit more of this.
Yeah, it was so good. And then
so he's not playing the hits for Madonna and her crew.
No, not at all.
See, that's great.
And then there was one point, at the end of Ain't About to Stop, like the segue into Like a Mac, where it's like the bass line. Mm-hmm. He played that on a loop for like 15 minutes and soloed over it with like just on guitar.
Show off.
It was so cool. And Madonna was sitting in the front, and he kept motioning for her to come up, and he's like, come on, do something. And she's like, do what?
Right.
Like, what can you do with this?
So she didn't get up there and play or anything, but he's rocking. I love the fact I knew she was out there. I knew the crew was out there, but I don't think I ever read the set list from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know
from that deal. I didn't know he's playing.
It was
hit and
good.
run. Like that is
So
fantastic.
good. Yeah, and then that was the first night that he played Free Yourself live too.
Okay.
So at that point,
I didn't realize he played that before because I knew he played it on the.
So he
piano
released it about 2 weeks earlier is when we were in Studio A listening to it, and and it was like a brand new track.
Were you doing that a lot? Where you're listening to tracks in wherever? Where were you listening to that one?
That one was in Studio A.
So
That was the first time I was in Studio A,
okay.
actually.
Tell us about that.
Oh my god, he just threw the cat. I don't really remember a lot. I mean, I was.
So you're in Studio A listening to Free Yourself. What are you thinking when you're listening to Free Yourself?
It wasn't really my jam.
Really? Do you like it now or
no? I love it now because I have memory attached to it. So, he played it that night. Madonna was long gone. They were tired, so they left at like 2. And it was probably 4 a.m. at this point. And he got up. The DJ was actually playing it. He asked her to play that song, and we were dancing. I remember Danny and Denise and I were dancing with Prince's assistant Marone.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time I had seen her like interact with people like that. Because she's usually like total business mode. Like you see her hair in the crowd, whatever. But I'd say like it was probably 10 or 15 of us left. And he had us singing background vocals and he couldn't hear us. So he had us like file onto the stage to sing in front of his microphone to an empty room.
Nice.
Which was crazy. So
you're on that track?
No, I'm not.
What?
Because that would have been like a live version, a 45-minute live version.
Okay. So you're just singing the chorus, but he never used the...
Yeah, we were like stomping on the stage too.
Yeah.
We didn't even realize he had left. Like 2 minutes, we were sitting there singing and stomping, and then we see him walk back in at the back of the room and wave, and we're like, okay, I guess we'll... Like, we all cut off at the same time.
But guess it's time to be done with this.
It's like, y'all gotta go.
Yeah.
He's still here?
It was great, though. I remember that night, though, really embarrassing part. I can't believe I'm saying this. He had us clapping on the upbeat for like 15 minutes straight. Like my hands were numb, right? And then when we got up on stage, he was like, add the hand clap. So I started clapping on the upbeat because I'm like next level clapper. And everyone else started clapping on the 2 and 4. And he stares into my soul from like the keyboards, like back to the left of me. And he goes, in time. And I was like, shit, okay, sorry.
So he called you out for...
Yeah, for being too funky.
Yeah. Normally, you would think he would have appreciated that.
Right. Well,
like we were just doing the weird. You didn't,
I know.
There was no instructions
I'm
here.
like, you trained us to clap on the upbeat, and then you're going to call me out for clapping on the upbeat?
Yeah.
Fine. It's fine.
At least you didn't come in then on the 1 and 3 like most.
I would never.
Like most rhythmic
white
people.
Never. That is fantastic. So you do that show. Other memorable shows. So Madonna, top of the list, obviously. What else you got on there? 7-7. That was a good show.
That was a good
your first
show.
One.
I'd say October of 2014, I was out there with my sister, and she was 7 at the time, and that was awesome to be able to experience that with her.
Did she get it? Like, is she like a Prince fan like you?
You know, we were like right on the front row, right in front of the mic stand. There was a point I was singing "Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself Again," and I think I was singing too loud because he looked down and chuckled at me, and I'm like, sorry, I'll keep it down.
But you're in your jam at that point.
Yeah. I remember my sister had a ton of energy after. Everyone was sitting down after that because it was a smaller show, probably 40 people again. And
this was your sister that was in your mom's womb at the 7-7.
It was. Yeah,
nice.
she was 7 at the time.
Her second show.
Her second show. Yeah, and she had so much energy after and couldn't stop dancing. But then I was like, "Did you like the show?" And she's like, "No." And like she's way into Justin Bieber and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can you like Justin Bieber when Prince was your first concert? She goes, actually, Sheila E. at the State Fair was my first concert. I'm like, shut up.
Actually, 777 at the Target Center was your first concert.
Right.
I was there.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. So, when was the last time you saw him?
The last time I saw him was April 16th. That night.
Okay.
Actually, that day I saw him at Electric Fetus.
Okay, you were there at Electric Fetus when he was there?
Yeah, just so happened. Like, I was really in tune with him that week. It was very strange.
That is odd.
I was headed somewhere else.
So you head to Electric Fetus and just happened to run into Prince?
Yeah, I was headed
on
somewhere
the
else.
16th.
And then because I was gonna just buy that tour book that night at Paisley, and I'm like, well, I'm right over here.
Might as well get it.
I was actually going to get dinner, and then I decided it didn't sound good, like what the exact thing that I was going to get, and so I stopped there. And right when I was walking in, I grabbed the book and I turned to the counter, and then I look up, and he's with Kirk and Marone walking out the back door.
Crazy.
I was like, weird timing. Yeah, but then
and then you see him at
I saw him that
Paisley,
night. Yeah, and it was weird because I remember he like got up and did a speech in the smaller room.
Yep.
And me and my friends were just chilling on a couch, and we're like, this is like, we'll just sit right here. We've seen this 40 times before. Like, it's fine. We'll catch him the next time.
Is that how many shows you did? 40?
Yeah, I went to about 40 in 3 years. Yeah.
Nice.
And I remember too, his assistant Marone came over to take our picture, like as a group, and then she came back like an hour later and was like, "It wasn't good enough. I have to use a different camera." And I'm like, "That's really weird."
What do you think they did with that picture?
I still haven't seen that picture. I don't know.
That's
I have no idea. But then he did come into the bigger room.
Yeah.
And to finish his speech and play the piano a bit. Yeah. And I remember him talking about the show in Atlanta, and he was like, "This is the best show I've ever played," which is probably how he felt about every single show after he did it.
The last show was always the best show as far as he was concerned. And I think he said that in an interview once. You know, what's your favorite song? You know, the last one
or the next one.
The next one, whatever. You know, I mean, he's it's kind of the way that dude rolled.
But I remember him talking about how he was gonna release the show. He loved the recording. Because he could hear the audience members like kind of heckling him.
Yeah.
And then one of my friends said something, and he's like, "Yeah, like that."
Nice.
Like just joking around. And then I was out there actually that Monday night after the show. I had brought one of my classmates I was going to the University of Minnesota at the time, and I was recruiting someone. Like, she was so ready to go to every party during the summer, and we went out to the Arboretum after class, and I remember messaging him, and I'm like, "It's really nice weather outside, like get outside, it'd be good for you," like that kind of thing. And then we drove past Paisley Park.
How are you messaging him?
Through Twitter.
Okay, so are you talking to him on Twitter during this season then? Like one-on-one?
Yeah.
What are you guys chatting about?
That's private, Mark.
Yeah, that's private. But I mean, how often
he slid into your DMs?
Yeah.
How often are you chatting?
I mean, it wasn't like he had a reminder set up to message me.
Like, it's Tuesday.
Yeah. No. I'd have to go back and look because literally, like, time flew by so fast. Every time you ask me about specific shows, I'm like, it blends together.
No, I get that.
It's like during the Prince time.
We all we all get that.
There's the Prince season, but at some point you reach out to him or he reaches out to you in messaging contact. What was it like having your first message conversation with Prince?
I mean, I had talked to him previously.
Okay.
So it wasn't like
a big
profound.
deal. But you're older now, right? Like there was like a season where there was like this gap of like 12-year-old Sam and not 12-year-old Sam.
right. Yeah. I mean, it was different. It was interesting to look back because when I was 12 talking to him, it was more about like kind of a mentorship type of relationship. Where he was telling me like that I do matter as a human and as a woman.
Really?
And stuff like that.
That's a pretty profound message to hear from somebody.
Yeah. Well,
like he was like intentional about getting into this conversation? Like I'm gonna like.
Yeah. So I told him that I started playing saxophone because of Candy Dulfer, and he went into this whole speech about how the world needs more female musicians and. How women deserve power and stuff like that.
Pretty authentic in that statement? Like you believed him when he said it?
Absolutely. He was the first person that I believed that said that to me.
What was it about him and his grasp of kind of that message why was it so believable? Tell me, like, where was it coming from him in your mind?
I think, because I knew his music pretty well at that point, and I had heard a lot of really positive messages about women.
Yeah.
And obviously as a kid you like know how grand this person is.
Yeah.
I ended up kind of forgetting that as the time went on, but at that time it was like your opinion matters more than most humans. It really was, got ingrained in my brain.
How do you feel like that has impacted your life? I mean, how has that shaped you? I mean, this 12-year-old girl hearing this from Prince, like what does that mean to your life today?
I learned a lot about respecting myself and about not wasting energy on people that don't respect me.
Nice.
Which is a profound lesson to learn as a kid, I think.
For sure.
That's amazing. And I mean, you do your own artwork as well, right?
When I have time.
When you have time. So, but I mean, tell us a little bit about like, I mean, do you feel like, I mean, no Prince, there'd be no artwork, right? I mean, like that shapes kind of the trajectory.
So I don't like wasting time creating if I'm not inspired.
Okay.
And he is a great source of inspiration.
So tell us a little bit about kind of the work that you do and what that looks like.
So I do a series of artwork that uses his lyrics combined with images of him.
Okay.
If
and
that makes sense.
yeah, the images, and essentially it's like words that have the lyrics around the image.
Have I not seen this?
You've been to my house, dude. I got a Samantha original.
That's right. Okay, I've seen that one.
Boom! Exodus has begun. Days of Wild.
Yes.
Here we go.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Now,
I got those lyrics on my.
For
deal.
people
It's
listening,
fantastic.
where can people see your artwork? Find your artwork?
I don't even know where I have it saved. I'm in this mentality
get
where
you
So you don't sell it. You just make it, or people
I don't
commission
sell it
you?
anymore. I used to.
Okay.
I did a piece a few weeks ago. I was staying in Atlanta with a friend, and as a thank you for like staying, thanks for staying with me, I did a piece based on the Atlanta show that he did because that was her last show. So I listened to it and wrote down like specific things he said during that show.
Within the show,
that. Yeah,
that's fascinating.
And I can post a picture of that as well.
Yeah, we should get some links on the various deals. Well, if we can put that out, you can help us with that.
I can try.
Yeah, because you can set up a little Facebook page with all this stuff. Because I mean, I'm telling you, the work is incredible. It's really, really cool. We've collaborated on a few things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm under this mentality that I like to create and then let things go. So the first, I did 5 of those pieces in the first series to kind of, it was right after they took all the stuff off of the fence for the first time outside of Paisley Park.
Yep.
And that weekend, we took a bunch of flowers from this banquet that was supposed to be held at Paisley Park that we were volunteering at, and we made this huge
that
like
got
heart
canceled,
thing.
right?
Well, it just got moved.
Okay.
Yeah. So we took all the flowers from the tables and made this gigantic heart on the fence, and then I made some artwork to put up too to try to encourage people to keep leaving things.
Yeah.
So that they wouldn't forget about them.
Yeah. Did you put anything on the original fence?
I didn't because I went out and sat out there so many days, and I'm like, I don't know what physical thing I can put here that would compare to the energy that he gave us.
Yeah.
So I did go out there and I danced at 3 a.m.
That was cool.
Music blasting from my car because I'm like, I'll give the energy right back. But as far as like physical things, there's really nothing I could leave.
Yeah. But then once the stuff got removed, you kind of came back with the flower and then like essentially a creation.
Yeah. And I created that artwork with the intent of leaving it to be damaged by the rain and wind or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot from Prince in that aspect where it's like create and keep moving.
Yeah, keep pressing on.
Yeah.
So then you started doing your pieces at that point and
Yep.
so we're gonna get a link to it. You don't like to talk about it.
I don't like promoting myself. It's really weird. I didn't even think I was going to be interviewed today because I don't like talking about myself.
I've always been that way too. Like back when I was like first DJing for Prince, some of my friends were like, "You need to promote yourself. You need to be blowing this up and blah blah blah." And I was just like, "Nah, I'm just gonna I'm just doing this is what I do. It's natural and it's organic. And probably the moment that I start, putting it out everywhere, what's going on, it's gonna end.
Yeah,
exactly.
You'd rather ride that wave and create and move on, right?
Right.
Yeah. Create and move on.
Yeah.
I mean that's what we're doing here, right? Like it's like that same kind of legacy. Like we're creating, moving on, putting it out there. And
can I go back though? I have a technical question.
Yes.
Twitter. So one time, I'm gonna have to pull up the screenshots, but there was one time, I can't remember when it was, but it was April 1st, and I tweeted, I was like, "Party at Paisley Park tonight, Third Eye Girls performing, $40." And all of a sudden it was like, Third Eye Girls following you. And it was like, ding. And it was like, you got a DM. And I got to go back and find the screenshots exactly what he said. But it was something about your mom's house or something like that. It was like a joke. And like, so when he DM'd you on Twitter, would you get a follow? Because you can't message people unless you're following people on Twitter.
Right.
So he's like, because then he unfollowed me. You know what I mean? He like followed me to roast me, and then he unfollowed me.
So you could you roast him back?
No, I couldn't.
Oh my gosh!
Just in and out, man. In and out. He's like Ali on the Twitter roasted.
He wasn't following. I think that for some accounts you can like set it so that people can't see that you're following them.
Oh, maybe.
But there were times where I would post pictures and not tag anyone, and then he would like grab my picture and post it, and I'm like,
right.
What's happening?
Maybe there's something different too if you're verified. I don't know that.
Yeah, you get a little more game or something.
Yeah,
a little more clout. I don't have that.
That's really
come on, Twitter.
So
verify me.
So as we're moving down the road here, so you're currently administering People of Paisley Park?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So I started. Lori Holmquist started People of Paisley Park.
When did it start?
I think fall of. What year is it right now?
It would have been fall of 16, right?
I think it was
after he passed.
It was after he passed.
16 or
I don't
17.
remember what. I'm so bad with time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Like I've been trained to not be able to tell time properly.
Yeah.
But she was working on it for a long time, did a really great job with it, and then asked if I would come on as a writer after she interviewed me for a story. And so for a while I was doing artist features. Okay. So a lot of the artists that worked out at Paisley Park with Prince, I would write their stories and post them.
Nice.
And
those are all out there now, right?
Those are all on the website.
That's just content that you want to dig into more of what Prince was doing, more stories.
Absolutely.
That content's there.
Yeah, and she hired me to do the website design as well. So when you go to the website to listen to the podcast, which you've probably already been to the website, that work was all me as well.
Nice. So the whole design, that whole deal is your creation.
And then
do you still do a lot of website design? I mean, is that part of your deal or?
I get bored doing the same thing every day. So it's like if someone comes to me with, will you do this weird project? Yes.
Yes. So you're in there. So if you got a weird project.
It's got to be weird.
It's got to be weird. If it's not weird, if it's normal, we don't want normal. But weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam's
it's great because I just started a new job less than 2 months ago where now I can do like event planning and social media marketing and like talking to people and talking to dogs.
Yeah. So
like all this stuff.
You're off to the races on this thing. So People of Paisley Park, you're administering it, getting new content, and kind of managing the Facebook page.
So Lori stepped away April of 2018.
Okay.
And she asked if I would take it over. And I am overwhelmed. I think because I can't create that much content by myself. So it's really helpful that you guys want to create content.
Yeah, we want to create a lot of content. You know, I mean, we're just getting started here. You know, these are the first episodes hitting the street. Our vision is to give people voice for the stories and to, you know, get that interaction. I think the written stuff that's done is really good, but sometimes like it's this long form interview of the people, the stories at Paisley, the relationships that were formed, and just the
things coming back to you out of
things coming back to you that you didn't remember, the stale popcorn story that you're like, oh, I forgot that happened, right?
Or grinding on Prince.
What? So grinding on Prince. Yeah. You just been holding this one back on us.
That was my really bad record.
Grinding on Prince. All right, tell us.
I have never told this story publicly because it's very embarrassing, very personal, and he tricked me into. It was like a dance grind. It wasn't like a sexual thing. Yeah. I have never thought of him in a sexual way because I met him when I was a kid, and he was more of that fatherly type person than like a sex idol like most people see him as.
So, but the grinding story, nonetheless.
Oh, yeah. So we, DJ Mike used to play the wobble a lot because he's like a wedding DJ. So that was like at the time.
Like, and that was the jam out there. Like when I hear the wobble, I picture Third Eye Girl in the center of Paisley Park wobbling.
Yeah. I remember there was one night I was doing the wobble and Prince had sent these twins over to talk to me, like to get like some information about who I was. It was very awkward, but I'm like, I'm dancing right now. Like, can this wait?
This is the wobble. This is the jam.
Wobbling.
But there was one night, it was in the soundstage area, and I was on the end of like the whole wobble block, and I was facing forward. And right when I jumped to the left, he timed it perfectly where he walked by and I jumped forward, like right kind of with Prince, like between my legs. And I'm like, do I stop dancing? Like, I don't know.
This is my grind right here.
Very awkward.
Okay. Was he laughing?
He kept walking, but he was like, he does that side look where he's like,
he got you.
Like I did this. Yeah.
Like I planned this thing out because Prince is scheming like that.
Yeah.
He's 2 moves ahead. He's
a schemer.
He's letting the popcorn sit for a couple days. Just let that sit. Don't throw that away.
That's great.
That's a fantastic story. What else should we know about you, Sam? I mean, this has been fantastic. Before we close it out, I gotta ask you about the war. When was the first time you heard the war? We gotta ask everybody about the war. Because I know you love that song.
I do love that song. And now my mailman loves that song because I suggested it to him.
So,
like, literally, I leave a Post-it note with a song suggestion every day for him. His name is Greg. He's awesome.
So you're posting on your door every day a Prince song.
So it's I work at an apartment community. So he comes, and it takes him like 20 minutes to deliver everyone's mail every day. So on top of the mailboxes, I put a Post-it with a song suggestion every single day. And one day I gave him The War, and the next day he comes in with a cassette tape in his front pocket with The War on it. He's like, it was worthy of a cassette tape. Like,
nice. This dude's rocking it on cassette.
Yeah. And I remember like I got a Google Home as a gift that week too. And so I had this Google Home in my office, and he's like, you got the microchip in your neck right in your office.
Yes.
Like, I was like, all right, Greg.
What is it about that song that you love so much and Greg loves so much?
It's hypnotic, kind of like you get like into a trance almost. And I don't know. I just like, and you feel the lyrics, like everything he says, like, oh yeah, I feel that.
I'm with you. I'm on this Prince vibe.
Well,
it's
because
hypnotic.
he hypnotizes you first before he comes at you with crazy ideas.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So you have to be on the same level.
So do you think there's a method to that madness? Like when he's rocking that, like is he knowing what he's doing?
I mean, I think he knew what he was doing every step of the way.
Yeah. So yes.
Yes.
So that hypnotic trance, like I'm going to get him with this, and then I'm going to bam with that. Like that was all predetermined. Like
and
Prince
then
was
they're
working
gonna
that
be
in the
going
studio.
into their job
not the
next
studio
day
at Paisley Park.
Yeah, he's getting mailmen to make microchip in your neck comments
Which is fantastic,
Still,
right?
yeah.
So you and Greg are vibing at that level. Greg's in the club.
Greg's totally in the club.
And we inviting Greg to parties. Does he know DJ Dudley's D's spinning here soon?
Yeah, let's bring Greg down.
Yeah, bring Greg down. Well, it's been great having you. Anything else you want to leave us with?
Hold on, wait.
What else?
What's your favorite album?
Oh God.
These
Missed
days
it.
probably Rainbow Children.
Okay.
It for a long time.
You're into the jazz stuff, right?
Yeah,
I'm
you
into
like
the
that.
jazz. I'm not a very religious person, but I like those ideas. I like hearing things that people are passionate about, no matter if I agree with them or not. So I think on that level, I really appreciate that album. But for probably 15 years, New Power Soul is my favorite.
Okay.
Because it's a jam all the way through.
Your favorite song? You got a favorite song?
Like out of everything?
Out of everything.
It's a really hard, dumb question, but can you answer it?
I can. It's a pair, or it's a tie between Muse to the Pharaoh and Poom Poom.
It's complete opposites.
Yeah.
Why do you like that? You like that Poom Poom? Dustin used to rock that thing.
I love that song.
No, this dude that song was on repeat, and Dustin be like doing his little dance.
I remember
every time.
Those are the jams.
The Artificial Age release party, Lenka was DJing, and she started to play Poom Poom, and Prince ran up to the DJ booth and was like, "Don't play that!" Like motion with his entire body, like cut that off. I think it was probably because he wanted her to play new stuff because it was a release party.
Yeah.
But then all of the DJs were scared to play Poom Poom after that. I'm like, play my song.
I'm not scared.
Dustin ain't never
Dustin's
scared.
not scared.
Dustin ain't scared to play that Poom Poom. DJ Dudley D breaking it down. Crystal Ball.
I did get in trouble one time during, I think it was the first celebration. What was it? The first celebration, was that the Rainbow Children?
That was the second one. That was the second one.
Second one, I was playing, I played Head. It was like early. It was like the second song. People hadn't even gotten in yet, but Trevor, head of security, came over and he was like, "Do not play this song." And I was
That's
like,
so funny.
"Oops, let me switch it up real
My
quick."
bad. So funny. It's great.
But yeah, he went through different
Phases
of like, yeah, you can play this, but no, you can't play that. Well, there was another time in Chicago.
I remember the story. He hit
where
you
I
up
played,
on the.
No, it was in Chicago, and it was during the United shows or whatever. But we were at the House of Blues, and I didn't have before, but I found or we got a clean version of "Sexy Motherfucker."
Nice.
And I played it, the clean version, and then we were in the elevator after the show going up, and he was like, "What did he say?" He was like, "Good job tonight." He's like, "Just don't." He's like, "That sexy MF." He's like, just shook his head at me. I was like, "Okay, I got no problem. Won't play it again."
But did you
Out of
not play it
rotation.
again, or did you?
Not in front of him, no.
But you play it now.
Oh, of course.
Oh
no.
yeah, we rocking it now. We are rocking it now.
Now I can play some bootlegs.
Yeah, here we go.
Before I had to stick to the script.
Dustin is outside the box now. Oh yeah. This is good. Well, appreciate your time tonight, Samantha. Appreciate your work on the people of Paisley Park, giving us an opportunity to use this platform. It's a good thing. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll get you back. We'll do some
You
more
and your
of
mom.
this. Yeah,
Gotta
I
have
think
your
that
mom
would be
back.
a really good a good deal. It'd be fantastic. Well, we appreciate the time. We are the Paisley Knights. We're chronicling the days of wild. I am Mark Bondi.
And DJ WD.
We'll check you next time. Peace and
Be wild.